hidden from his view by the tall pine trees flanking the drive. The honey-coloured stone walls of the house rose behind him, casting a vast shadow over the grass that didn't reach as far as the marquee. Part of the lawn had been cordoned off and was being used as a car park. The sun glinted on the shiny paintwork of the cars. No one took much notice of Tanner as he walked into the marquee. The tented space was divided into two distinct areas. The end where he stood had a raised platform and rows of green plastic chairs, many of which were already occupied. Beyond the chairs, a sea of people moved like a swarm of honeybees around the bar and food tables. The smell of onion bhajis and chicken satay sticks competed with the myriad scents and aftershaves of some 200 people in the marquee. It was a little overwhelming. "Tanner, at last!" A woman whose hair had clearly once been neatly caught up in a pile on her head took him by the arm and led him to the back of the tent. Even with her dishevelled hair, Elisa managed to look cool, calm, and stylish. Tanner ignored her too obvious efforts to flirt with him and instead looked at the varied selection of items, each with a numbered tag arranged on sheets behind the platform. He caught sight of some oil paintings, a decorative lamp, and lots of boxes and bags. "We've done really well. 42 lots donated so far," said Elisa, excitement in her voice.
"That's wonderful. What overwhelming support."
"To be honest, it seems to have become an annual competition to donate the most."
"I'm pleased for this year's charity in any case."
"I've written a short description for each auction lot. I'll hand it to you with the item when it's time to sell that number."
"Great. What time do we start?"
Tanner hoped that his voice suggested more enthusiasm than he was feeling. Elisa glanced at the ornate watch encircling her wrist. 15 minutes, okay?" Tanner nodded and went to see if everything was running smoothly at the other end of the tent. He realised, too late, that this was a mistake. Some of his father's friends and business associates recognised him.
"Tanner, how's your father? Such a pity he's not here in his usual role."
A small crowd massed around him, and Tanner found himself with a dilemma. Should he be totally honest about his dad, or tell a few white lies? He decided that the brutal truth, that his father would be unlikely to last until his birthday in October, would definitely dampen the mood of the party.
"Thank you for asking. Dad's bearing up. He's in a comfortable clinic." "You must let me have the address. I'd like to visit him," piped up another man. "Maybe in a couple of weeks. The doctors have ordered complete rest for him at the moment."
A woman who Tanner vaguely recognised, but whose name he couldn't recall, put her hand on his shoulder. "Please give him our love. I'll organise some signatures on one of today's programmes, and you can take it to dear Michael to show he's in our thoughts."
"That sounds like a lovely idea. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have an auction to run."
Tanner smiled at the fact he'd almost bowed to these people as if they were royalty.
Come to think of it, some of them probably were.
He made a break for freedom and walked back along the tented space to the stage. The annual party had been held in the grounds of Lucerne Lodge on the last Saturday in June for many years. The invited companies and many individuals donated items for an auction to raise money for a designated charity. A different charity was chosen each year. This time, the Multiple Sclerosis Society would benefit. Last year, it had been cystic fibrosis. Tanner had a thank you letter in his pocket for the previous year's donation from the president of the cystic fibrosis charity that he intended to read out at some point in the proceedings. His father had always enjoyed acting as auctioneer, but this year, as he lay gravely ill in his private clinic, his son was reluctantly but dutifully taking his place. Tanner had watched his father perform on a stage like this many times. A brilliant actor in front of the crowd, no one watching Michael Bryant in action with his auctioneer's gavel would dream that he was a surly loner. It seemed a hard act to follow, but after making sure everything else was running smoothly, Tanner took a deep breath and walked up to the lectern. He banged the wooden gavel to hush the crowd and attract the attention of those not yet seated. Like father, like son, he was a loner too, but capable of looking the extrovert if a situation required it, as it did right now. He remembered a trick he'd been taught at university for occasions when you were daunted by large numbers of people.